Holy Jeebus, I am kicking ass with this rifle. Either that or my opponents are probably pretty new to the game. Oh, yeah, I guess my enemies are just new to the game. I hope I don't get banned. This aimbot cost me way too much. How's it going, you sexy beast? Welcome back to another freaking awesome, amazing pro skillet MLG YOLO Swag 420 Fan Picked Friday Challenge. This is the series where you and your extremely luscious spandex clad booty can suggest any type of weapons, attachment, skills, classes, DPS, guns, mini whelps left side, or whatever else you can think of, and see just how badly I get wrecked. Last week's episode was The Tantrum by Permaderp, which featured the fully automatic piston shotgun available to the new conglomerate. If you've got a sweet idea for next fan-picked Friday challenge, go ahead and post it in the comments section below, and I'll choose one of the most top-voted comments to use in next week's episode. Last week's episode was all about shooting high-damage projectiles and hoping that they actually hit their target. This week's episode is kind of the same way, where a weapon is vaguely inaccurate and does not have the damage to compensate. This loadout comes from Shadow Ghost 2, and he calls it Mr. Gimp. Faction, any class, Infiltrator primary, NS-30 Vandal with a 6x scope, Compensator, and flashlight. Secondary, Hunter QCX with a 6x scope, laser sight, and detect bolts. Tool, Motion Spotter. Ability, Hunter Cloaking. Suit, Adrenaline Pump. Grenade, EMP or Decoy, which I opted for EMP. Utility, Claymores, and any implant. The description reads, during training, nanite soldiers were forbidden to do practically anything unless told to do so. One of these was eating. At one point, Mr. Gimp's battalion was completely famished and no one had any food. Except for Mr. Gimp, of course. He would scarf down anything he could find, hoping no one would discover his dirty little secret. Soon enough, one man from his battalion saw him eating a potato in the corner, and a massive fight broke out. The leader of the battalion was eventually called over to assess the issue, which eventually resulted in Mr. Gimp being told to play support, and was told not to fire a single shot either. When Mr. Gimp was readying his Vandal, he was forced to take a flashlight, which must be kept on, so that his teammates always knew where he is, and a compensator so that if he does shoot, everyone will be able to find him. Nevertheless, Mr. Gimp decided that he would still run off and try his best to sneak around enemy lines to pick off a couple with his knife. Well, let's just say he didn't live for very long. Thank you so very much for your awesome ass challenge, Shadow Ghost 2. I have to admit, before this challenge, I have never picked up the Vandal rifle since I don't tend to play Infiltrator very often. But surprisingly, I was really good with it, given the right situation. My first play session was utterly rage-inducing, but once I found out how to use the weapon properly and get more than 30 FPS in any firefight, I was able to go 48-2 and got a couple accusations. I ended up falling down to a KDR of about 4.8 to 5.0 at the end of the night, and it felt pretty good. Most of my deaths occurred from tanks, so I'm just going to say my KDR was about 500 bajillion. Yeah, totes. What about the statistics of the Vandal? It's a faction-agnostic scout rifle that seems to wonder what exactly it wants to be. It deals 334 damage maximum up to 15 meters and falls off the 280 damage minimum at 75 meters. That's a 3-hit kill at point blank and a 4-hit kill at anything further. Throw a nanoweave and you're adding another bullet to kill at both distances. It's got a 15-round magazine, another 75 in the reserve, a short reload speed of 2.6 seconds, a long of 3.5 seconds. Vertical recoil pulls upward at 1 degree per shot, which is absolutely scary, but it's a semi-automatic rifle, so it doesn't matter. Muzzle velocity is 520 meters per second, which is below average, and is generally awful for the style of which this weapon is designed. The scout rifle is available to all factions, so picking up with station cash is a pretty good investment if you play the Infiltrator class on multiple characters. As stated before, my first gameplay bits of the Vandal were absolutely filled to the brim with rage, anger, hate, and pancakes. Once I found out where to actually fight as Mr. Gimp, I was able to hold my ground against the opposition. The flashlight was typically a beacon of "shoot me in the face, please!" as was the compensator. Every time I pulled the trigger, I'm sure everybody and their mother saw a big red dot on the minimap just asking to shoot me the hell up. The Vandal is really interesting. It has the statistics to be a strong battle rifle, but as every semi-automatic weapon rifle suffers from is this terrible cone of fire mechanic. I discovered you have to stand still while firing the Vandal, or you're going to miss plenty of shots from the moving cone of fire alteration. Which makes me wonder why the weapon even has a 0.75 movement speed multiplier if you can't even utilize that facet of the weapon effectively in combat. Playing as Mr. Gimp and eating all of my battalion's potatoes was rather enjoyable once the stars were aligned. The detect bolts on the crossbow feel much more useful than standard recon darts, especially when coupled with the motion spotter to utterly lock down a section of a base. Sadly, I wasn't able to get many knife kills. There were plenty of, "Oh shit, there's a dude there!" moments where unloading a few rounds on a prompt knife was necessary, but nothing like the ninja loadout from episode 20. There you have it, you sexy beast, Mr. Gimp by Shadow Ghost 2, featuring the NS-30 Vandal scout rifle available to all factions. Hopefully you guys liked this video, and if you did, please give it a big ass thumbs up. If you have a challenge that you desperately want to see me try out, go ahead and post it in the comment section below. Make sure to include all the necessities, weapons, attachments, or lack thereof, class, abilities, faction, or whatever else you can think of, and I'll pick one of the most top voted comments to use in next week's Fan Picked Friday challenge. Hopefully you're having a super fantabulous start to your weekend, and wish you nothing but badassery here on out. Make sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter, as well as considering becoming a patron of the channel through my Patreon campaign. If you'd like to see more videos like these, go ahead and click that sexy ass subscribe button. Recent studies have deduced that subscribing has a monetary requirement of absolute zero.